I don't know what's going on with this. 9 the 10th, and okay, to be or not to be a function. Okay, what happens is this function a relation? A history teacher asks 6 first student numbers they study for a recent test. The following diagram maps the grades that they receive on the test to the number of hours that they study. So here's the grade and here's the hours. Remember, this is your x, also your domain, also the input. Let me move this thing here. It's the input, also called the domain. Also is the independent variable. This is called mapping, okay? When you have two circles like this, it is a mapping. Anyways, is this a relation of function? Let's figure it out. If the relation is not a function, state why. Well, it is not a function because 85 goes to 3, and then 85, the domain or the x or the input, goes also to 4. Once the domain repeats, as you notice here, the domain repeats, the x repeats, the input repeats, it is no longer a function. In this case, 95 also, 95 goes to 5, and 95 also, if you can see this right here, I got 85 right there. That's my first set. 95 goes to 6 because the domain repeats. You only need one time repeat though. We didn't even have to look at this. This is what's necessary to state. So we can state that's not a function because the domain repeats. Not a function because domain, that's the x. Here's the x. These are the x. Repeat. Write a set of ordered pair to represent the mapping. Oh, I already started early. Okay. So we had 85 to 4, or 3 in my, and 85, well, 85 to 4, that's, and then 95 to 5, 95 to 6, and then 70 also repeats. 70 to 1 and 70 to 2. So as you can see, there are many cases where it is not a function. What does the first value in each ordered pair part represents? Well, in this case, it represents the first value in each ordered pair represents the grade. We can have names or whatever input, but it really, in this case, these scores are the grades on the history tests. Okay? So the X represents the history test. The first value, which is the domain, in each ordered pair represents the grade on the history test. The second value, the range or the y, now the second value, remember, this is called the range, or the y, or the output, or the dependent variable. All those things represents the dependent, the y, basically the answer, or whatever. It could be the answer. In this case, the output is our study. Let me check this out. That makes sense. I was correct. Okay. The second value is our study. Studied. Okay. Now, next page. Complete the following. Does the graph agree with your conclusion in part A? Explain your reasoning. Okay, we now need to graph those points. Ordered pair, that was up here, 85.3. That's the first dot that's already there, 85.4. Oh yes. Already we can see that it doesn't pass the vote, the vertical line test. Okay. But we need to plot all of them. 80, 95.5, 95.6, 71, and 72. Nope, wrong spot. So in many places, did not pass the vertical line test. So yes, it supported part A, where the graph part A, it's not a function because the vertical line has 2 points. Okay? I wrote too big. I can't get this any smaller because I won't be able to read. Suppose the teacher asked 6 students the number of hours they studied and the set of ordered pairs was Create a mapping for this set of pairs. Okay, mapping. Remember, the mapping is those little circle things. You'll get that on the test tomorrow. The mapping is the little circle things. So you get this and this. First is 100 to 6. Okay. I believe in mapping you have to order the input and the output, or the range and the domain. Okay, so let's do all the x's first, the domain first in order, and our lowest number here is 70. Then we got 80, got it twice. Oh, we know it's not a function already. We only write it once though. Then 90, we got 90 twice. We only write it once. And 100. Okay. Now I look at the range, or the output, or the y's, and number them in order. Okay, so I would say 1 goes first, 2 goes next, 3 goes third, 5 goes next. Oh, there is 4, I forgot. Good thing I checked. 5, and then 6 goes last. I'm going to make my circle a little bit bigger. That's why you use a pencil. Okay. Then you draw arrows to each one. 100 to 6. 90 to 5. 80 to 3. 70 to 1. 90 to 4. 80 to 2. Is a relation a function? Not a function. Okay, this relation is not a function because the domain repeats. Domain, or in this case, we call it the x, repeats. Okay, next page. List all the inputs in the relation. Now, the input is the same thing as a domain. So, input is the same thing as the domain or the x. So list all the domain. Let's see. Well, 70, 80, 90, and 100, right? List all the output. Output is the range or the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Silly. Instead of mapping grades to hours studied, the teacher decided to create a new diagram for her first set of students. This diagram maps hour to studies to grades. The other one asks you to do I assume it was the other way. Okay, hour studies to grades. So they want the hour studied here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is hour study. To grades. Okay, they're grades. Okay, it's 70. Obviously, we switch the input and output. 80, 90, and 100. Show the mapping that would result. This is the mapping. Okay, so, okay, let's see. Let's go back to our ordered pair. So we switch it to 100 to 6. Now I need to go back and look. 90 to 4 and 5, 80. Okay, 90 to 4 and 5, 80 to 3 and 2, and 70 to 1. Let me check and make sure. Yep. Yes. Anyways, study, and this is grade. Is this set up? Write the ordered pair to represent the mapping. Oh my goodness. 170. 280. 2 hours, score 80. 3 hours, score 90. 4 hours, score 90. 5 hours, scored 3 hours, scored 80. Sorry. 4 hours, scored 90. 5 hours, scored 90. 6 hours, scored 100. Is this a function in part D? Yes, it is. Because none of the main repeats. None of the input. In this case, they use the word input. Remember, it means the same thing. So, here are all your X's right there. None of them repeats. Therefore, it's a function. Okay, next page. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Let's just repeat same thing over. Well, you guys know how to do this. By the end of the year, the principal are to create the following mapping. Input. Well, complete the scatter plot. Does the graph agree with your conclusion? Okay. Part F. So they want us to use 170, 280, 380. Okay, 170, 280. No, that's not 2. 2 is right over here. Where's that? 380. 490. 590. 6 100. Okay, so does it agree with our conclusion in F? Yes, it does, because if you draw a vertical line, the line only passes the dot once. So yes, it's a function as in F because vertical line tests only pass through one point. Yes, Bryce. Oh, good. Okay. At the end of the year, a principal decided to create the following mapping. Input: 82 total students in a history class. So there's 82 students. The final grade they receive for the class, and then output the final grade they receive for the class. So 82 students and the final grade. Does this mapping fit the definition of a function? Explain your reasoning. Yes, it is a function. You cannot duplicate a student. This is the input. Can't duplicate a person. Can't clone them. Not at that same age. So yes, it's a function because it's one student to a grade. There's no repeat of the same student getting another grade. So one student can't get 2 grades. Therefore, it's a function. There's only one number for the input. Okay? Suppose a teacher write the following equation that relates the amount of time students studied to their final grade. Let x represents the number, represents the number of hours studied, and y represents the grade. So y is the output, that's the grade. Okay, the input is the hour studied. The number you input, you substitute in to find what grade they'll get. It's a function. This is a function because there's a different x every time because there's a different x each time. Well, list 3 ordered pairs. Okay, this is what we did in class, making a table. Okay, 1 ordered pair, let's say 0 hours. What do you think their grade's going to be? What percentage? That's the output, that's the y, that's the grade. So 10 times 0 plus 4. Oh, 40 is 40%. F, what a surprise. 1 hour would be 10 times 1 plus 4, 50%. Still not much better. 2, so your ordered pair is 0, 40, 1, 50, 2, 10 times 2 plus 40 is 20 plus 40 is 60. 60%. Okay, that's our 3 ordered pair. What conclusion can the students make about the relation between hours studied and grades? It's a function, and the more you study, the better your grade. Because the domain are different. The more you study, the better the grade.